Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, all you lovely, lovely, lovely people. I'm Karen David. I'm on Fear the Walking Dead, playing Grace, or maybe you've seen me on Legacies, or Gallivant, or Once Upon a Time. And I am here, I'm so excited, to be chatting with your boy Galaxy on Comic-Con Radio.
Don't know if any of you are out there. Don't know if any of you are listening. But if you are, hang in there. We're coming for you. We've been doing this for a while, this helping people, and we haven't had a whole lot of luck.
You have no idea where you landed, do you?
You can trust us. You don't have to be afraid.
That's what people always say when there's something to be afraid of.
This place? We can't stay here for long.
Down!
Can we just take a breath? I'm aware I have a distinctive timbre. Hearing it now, seeing my face, removing all doubt, you may be inclined to instantly pull the trigger, perhaps involuntarily. A Pavlovian response of self-defense. So, can we just take a breath before we begin?
You still talk too much, Victor.
There's no way to really protect yourself. You can't put a weapon between you and losing people, and you can't even run away from them either. And I'm telling you that because I tried. The way out is opening the door. To people. To possibility. To the hurt that will happen.
When will I be able to play the accordion?
You play the accordion?
You missed a real shit pie a la mode today, Jimbo.
It's not supposed to be easy. Can't just pick up a walkie and say, we want to help, and that's it. It should be hard. Maybe that's how we know we're on the right track.
I'm starting to think maybe we got all the luck in this world.
My mom did so much to make sure we were standing here.
I didn't think that anyone could help me until you made me believe it.
Morgan.
Dwight?
Do you know each other?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing in for Comic-Con Radio. Coverage of pop culture events from around the globe. Amazing interviews with celebrities. Daily recaps and reviews of popular television. The Walking Dead. Z Nation. Van Helsing. DC Titans. Flash. The Legends of Tomorrow. Black Lightning. American Horror Story. The Green Arrow. Movie reviews. Everything Comic-Con and fandom from around the globe. Comic-Con Radio. Get ready to enter our universe. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is your boy Galaxy on a stupendous episode of Comic-Con Radio. I didn't say amazing today, I said stupendous. We have a lovely guest today. Now this guest was, and I always say my favorite show, please stop it. I know you guys are going to write comments about it, but these two series are lovely TV shows. One is Legacies and the other is Fear the Walking Dead. You're probably thinking, who is this person? That's right. We have the lovely and amazing and humble Karen David on the show today. Karen, what's up? How are you?
Hello, Galaxy. I love that she uses the word stupendous. It's very British.
Thank you. Hey, I use a lot of British words, but I'm not British, but it works.
You're British at heart, so that's good.
I am. I'm British at heart, and you have lovely British accent yourself.
Thank you. I try. I'm a Brit, and I'm also a Canadian. I'm half and half.
Nice. So you have the best of two worlds.
Yes.
You're a wonderful actress. You're making it happen. You're on Fear the Walking Dead. You're on Legacies. You were on Gallivant, on Once Upon a Time. You're on movies. You're rocking the world. How does it feel being Karen David?
Gosh, I think always when we stop and take a moment to reminisce and reflect back on our journeys, there's certainly been a lot of ups and downs and twists and turns. It's those milestones, it's the mistakes that you make and learn from that are who you are. And hey, I am grateful for all of it because it gives you an extra appreciation and gratitude for everything that you've been. And I'd like to think it just, it adds a bit of us to who we are and our personalities and who we've become. And so my parents have always said, thing worth going after means a lot of hard work. And if you keep a good head on your shoulders and you treat people the way you want to be treated and you work hard and persevere, then it cannot not happen. So I always tell everyone that if you've got a dream, no matter how big or small, and you really stick to it, then absolutely, you deserve to have your dreams come true too. So that's the essence of me.
That's really cool. It shows a side of you that you wear your heart on your sleeve. And I've heard through the grapevine that you're that type of person. You say what's on your mind, you're caring, and you're straightforward. Is that true?
It's also part of my upbringing too. My parents, I come from a very normal family. Nothing showy about my parents or anything. They're very grounded. But you just have to be who you are. Life is too short to not live your truth and not live your journey truthfully. And I just think that we just have to embrace each thing. I think as we start to grow up and get older, that we realize more and more that, life is really precious and really beautiful, and it is what we make of it. So I kind of have that carpe diem sort of mentality. And that comes a lot from my parents. We're an immigrant family. Oh, that's my dog saying hi in the background. But they have this immigrant mentality, and it is all about being grateful for what you have and to keep believing and following your dreams. So that's where that all comes from. I blame my parents. You can blame my parents.
Well, here's the thing. We're going to blame your parents for that, but you keep saying immigrant. I know what your other half is, but I don't know if the fans know that. So when you say immigrant, where is that from?
Well, to make a very long story short, my mom, Kasi lady, well, my mom, my sister, and I were born in the northeastern part of India, which is
Bollywood
yeah,
queen.
It's the northeastern part of India, and it's a matrilineal society. So it's one of the few matrilineal societies in the world where everything is favored to the girl. So all the children normally take the mother's maiden name and not the father's. But my dad struck a deal. My dad's from the south of India, and he struck a deal with my mom and said, well, one daughter takes your name and the other daughter takes mine. So I took my dad's last name, David, and my sister took my mom. So it's kind of those little quirks that when you're growing up, just don't quite understand as a kid because you just want to fit in with all the other kids. But now, as an adult, I kind of embrace all those quirky things. And that's where my journey started in Shillong, India. I've got my mom's Chinese roots and these, native Himalayan roots. And then I've got my Indian roots and I've got my British and my Canadian. So it's kind of like a tossed salad.
How proud they must be, because you took the Hollywood route and not the Bollywood route, and you're doing lovely in Hollywood. You have such a versatile look. You can pass for so many different ethnicities and you carry yourself that way. One of the shows that I really love you on is Legacies. Nobody knows where you're from. They're just like, that's Doc. How did it feel when you landed that role?
I was so excited to be part of that whole franchise. I loved the Vampire Diaries and the originals, and Julie Plec. Of course, I'm a huge fan of her work. So I just never thought in a million years that I would one day be a part of the legacy that she's created with these shows. I was so excited. And then to work alongside such a brilliant cast a very kind and loving cast and crew. I really adore this group. Every minute we're on set, we have the best time together. And gosh, I just thinking about different memories, from the first season filming. It just brings a ginormous smile to my face. I love it. Life is really funny that way, how it throws things at you unexpectedly in such wonderful ways. I mean, you mentioned Bollywood. I never had the opportunity to really explore that because I left India when I was a baby. I was not even a year old. So I always feel a bit fraudulent in that sense. It's a very bittersweet experience going back to India or China to see my family and, getting back in touch with your roots. And, I feel just as much a foreigner as anyone else, which is kind of bittersweet because I feel a part of it fits in culturally and it feels so good under my skin, so to speak. But at the same time, there's so much I don't know. And growing up in England and in Canada, I had to learn French, or you have to learn a bit of Italian, or, so it wasn't Hindi or any of the other Indian languages. So in that sense, it's sort of a little heartbreaking. I was like, gosh, I wish I took the time to learn those languages a lot. I mean, my parents speak different languages, like a vast amount, because there's so many different languages in India. And my parents dabble in a bit of everything. But we always talk about it, like what would have happened in India? Would I have gone the Bollywood route? I wonder. But that's something that I'll have to leave up to my imagination and just be thankful for the journey that I am on now.
You can get into Bollywood anytime now with your resume and the amount of TV shows and films you've been in. They'll open the door for you and they'll leave it open for you. Like Bollywood, they're like, Bollywood, I can get in now. You're in Hollywood, baby.
Yeah, it's just being sort of a chameleon, and I'm really, really grateful for that. And I think it also happens because of my look, coming from my background. I'm a little bit of different things. So now I embrace it so much as an actor because it's allowed me to segue into different kinds of roles that are so opposite from each other. And as an actor, I just want to keep growing. I want to keep learning and trying out new roles and different things, throwing myself in the deep end and playing a role like Grace on Fear the Walking Dead is so different for me. There's so much about her that's completely opposite for me, and yet there are some things about her that I can totally relate to. But, this whole genre of The Walking Dead and this universe of Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead is completely new to me. I'm the biggest wuss. Like, I am so scared. I am not that girl that watches anything remotely scary or horror-like. So it was really funny when
Well, you look like a badass on Fear the Walking Dead. You're a badass on it. You're just
I love you.
Shooting heads and taking numbers.
Because secret side, I'm like, what is happening? I'm surrounded by so many dead. It's just such a funny thing because if you ask my husband, he'll tell you that I have to hide behind a pillow anytime we're watching anything remotely scary. But I feel like this new adventure on this type of show, this genre of a show, is just kind of, giving me a bit more thick skin. And so I'm like, I feel like I'm gaining my brownie points with myself. Like, okay, I'm not as scared as I thought I would be. And, but this is all exciting for me as an actor to be kind of, trying out something completely different and throwing myself in the deep end.
Well, you went to the deepest end. You went to the deepest end because The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead is like, there's zombie killers and here's, magic shows and lovely dramas. And you went from like one end to the other. I got to say this, because you just, okay, I know you've had an extensive career, hard work, you put your blood, sweat, and tears, but to a lot of people, it looks like you just appeared out of nowhere 6 years ago and you're rocking the top out of nowhere. Like, just like you magicked yourself into like the hearts of people with all these amazing roles. But I know it was a long journey and I know you worked hard.
I always wanted to act since I was a little girl. I loved acting. I loved singing so much. And that has a lot to do with my upbringing. My parents would raise my sister and I on copious music, everything from classical to opera to Motown, name it, and pop music and jazz and whatnot. And then on top of that, with movies, my parents would always sit me down, even when I was a little girl, to watch some of their greats that they loved. I fell in love with Doris Day and Cary Grant and, you know, old Hollywood and Audrey Hepburn and Grace Kelly, like just the classiness and quality of these kinds of actors. I just was in awe of all of them. And so when my parents could see that I really was very serious about wanting to act and sing since I was a little girl, I started doing children's commercials, and my parents then couldn't really afford to take time off work, having just immigrated over to England and then to Canada. So they kind of wanted me to be a normal kid and not be a working child actor. So we kind of struck a deal when my parents said, we can't afford to take you, you know, to take time out of work, take you to these auditions. But if you do really well in school and you work hard and you get your straight A's in school, we'll save up and pay for your lessons, for acting lessons, or dance lessons, or singing lessons. So I'm really grateful that I had such a wonderful family who made a lot of sacrifices, especially financially, you know, being a working class family, to put that investment in me and have faith and really believe in me for so long. You know, at the day, your parents just want their kids to be happy and to see them thriving, but to kind of enter a world which is completely unknown to my family, and they have no contacts with anyone in the business. So it was kind of, I can imagine at some points it must have been really worrisome for them or daunting, because it was surely so much easier if they had a daughter that would have gone into teaching or accounting or become a doctor or a lawyer
or an engineer, huh?
You know? Yeah. And I get it. I really get it. And trust me, there were many times where I just like look up to the sky and say, oh my gosh, is this ever going to happen? And what am I doing? But then I laugh and I'm like, well, I'm too far down the rabbit hole to turn back. So I just got to keep going. And it's funny that you say, you know, the last 6 years have been phenomenal, and I've learned so much from this journey. It's just that it's been a long night. People might say that it's an overnight thing, and I'm like, well, if it is, then it's a long night.
There's a Game of Thrones analogy right there, right?
Yeah, well,
it's been a long night.
It started when I was a kid, and I think you have to have, and this goes with anything in life, I think if you're pursuing something, you have a goal or a dream, no matter how little or big, just stick to it. And I get a lot of that from my parents. I know that they have played a fundamental part and a huge part in my journey. And this is the reason why I'm where I'm at, because my family have been so incredibly supportive. And like, we have to pay for life coaches, and you've got life coaches for free with your mom and dad because they're so encouraging and supportive and kind of like my cheerleaders, but they keep it real. And they've always, you know, told me constructively, you know, you need to work on this, or sometimes if I'm stressed out or I can't see things clearly, they've always kind of broken it down for me. You know, there's no sugarcoating with them, and I really, really appreciate that. I'm here because of them, and I'm really, really grateful. So
that's really lovely to hear. That's
I have a
great.
Good cheering squad.
Well, that's great to hear. You know, you show how appreciative you are. You show your appreciation to your parents, and that's lovely. And they're gonna hopefully hear this, and they're gonna give you a big fat hug when they see you next time. But you know what? I noticed that your career changed. I don't know if maybe I'm wrong. You tell me. When you got the role of Layla on Scorpion King, was that kind of like a point where it was like, okay, now I'm the leading girl, and now this is the point I'm going on? I think the Scorpion King was that turning point?
Scorpion King definitely catapulted my career. Just before that, I had a record deal. I had a bit of time off from acting because I had to focus full time on writing songs and recording and doing press conferences for that and touring, you know, as you do as a pop recording artist. That for 2-3 years, and I was so excited. I had a top 5 hit in Europe, and just as the first single came out and did so well, we were prepping for the album to be released, and that's when Sony merged with BMG, and I lost my whole A&R team. And it was such a surreal moment, because literally the next day, if you called my A&R guy or my record company, everyone was gone. And it was a really scary, unsettling time for me, and completely creatively soul-destroying, because I wasn't dropped, and I almost wish I was. They kept me and Backstreet Boys on the catalog, But with my album then, it just sat on a shelf collecting dust as the company was restructuring. And I almost wish they had just dropped me, because that would have allowed me to then go somewhere else find another home and release my music. But like I said, everything happens for a reason. And I was with them for 2 years whilst they were restructuring. And I finally asked for a quote unquote divorce from them. And in the 2-3 years, I couldn't do anything musically. And that just killed me. So my acting agent to me, Karen, this is fantastic, because now you you up for different roles. And I said, yeah, okay, let's just do it, because I needed to pay the bills. And so she started putting me up for auditions, and it was so immediate that as soon as she put me up for different shows and doing, guest star episodes here and there back in England, I started booking. And then that quickly led to Scorpion King. It's funny because the roles I've played and knowing the process to get those roles, when I first read each of the roles, including Layla, I just kind of instinctively knew. I said, oh my God, this is so me. I can feel her in my blood and bones. I am Layla. And I just kind of knew. And so when I went in there, it just felt so natural to me. Second nature, playing Layla, saying her lines. It just felt like me. Like we were one person. And I didn't hear anything for like 3 weeks. No, maybe it was 6 weeks. And I just thought that nothing happened. And I was so bummed out. I was like, gosh, I kept saying to my family, I was like, that went really well, and yet nothing, anything. So I'll never forget, I was walking on the high street back home in London, and I was picking out tiles because I was renovating my bathroom. And I got the call from my agent saying, oh, you know that role for Scorpion King? She said, yeah. She said, well, you got the role. And I was like, wait, what? And it came so out of the blue. I said, I never heard anything from my agent, so I just thought it didn't happen. And she said, no. She said, we've been going back and forth, negotiating and everything. And I didn't want to tell you, she said, because I didn't want you to get your hopes up or anything. I just wanted to come back with you with a final answer. So she said, so you got the role. And I was like, oh my God.
And you threw the tiles up in the air and you're jumping up and down, and the guy's like, what the hell's going on with this girl?
Yeah. But it was so crazy. And that really did change my life, because that was one thing that my agent always said, is that I saw a lot of my actor friends back in England, and all of them kind of going to LA and doing the whole LA thing. And it was really tough for a lot of them. And my agent kept saying, I kept asking my agent, well, when's it my turn? When's it my turn? I want to go. And she said, you can't go to LA and Hollywood and do that whole thing until you have something in your hand. She said, you just can't. You've got to go with something. And she said, just be patient. Something will come. And it was Scorpion King. And ever since Scorpion King, that's it. All of a sudden, the phones were ringing, and I had managers and agents wanting to rep me, and that started to bring me back and forth. I was kind of doing a yo-yo between London and LA. And I was living a double life for a few years, and it was tough, but to kind of have two sets of lives and overheads as well. But I stuck to it, and my agents kind of said, give us a year, stay in LA full-time for a year, and you will book something. And I was so frightened, because I was booking a lot of work in England, and I was so grateful, but I didn't want to lose the security of that. But I had to take a chance, and I thought, you know what? You have to go with the momentum. You only get these chances once in a lifetime. So I said, okay, I'm just going to look at this as a transition year and just see what happens. And that was 6 years ago. And as soon as I moved over, I think about 5 months later, I booked Gallivant. And that was the start of
nice. And you gallivanted your way into everyone's hearts. That's such an amazing story. You basically just created a novel in like 4 minutes, and it's so amazing to hear. And that's so cool that your agent's like, stay put, Don't go there going crazy in LA and running amok. Stay where you're at. You're going to get something. And it happened. I think, you know what it is? It's your hard work. It's a lot of great people around you. It's your parents probably praying night and day for you to succeed.
I know, but yes, my mom, every day.
Yeah.
I think it's also that I had really great teachers and great mentors. And our teachers are very much the unsung heroes. Hopefully we've all had in our lifetime at least one teacher that truly inspired you and just thought the world of you and just saw all the potential in you. And I had a few teachers that were like that in my life, and my mentors as well. And having a good team of people like my agents, and I was listening and knowing when to listen to good advice and to take it. And a lot of it was patience. So I had to be patient before I could take that first step of coming to LA and doing the whole Hollywood thing. And I'm so glad I listened, because Scorpion King came, and that really opened a lot of doors for me. And I loved playing Layla so much. I mean, sword fighting, being a tomboy, wearing these cool costumes, filming in Cape Town, South Africa for 3 months. I was like, it just doesn't get any better than that.
And you're like, oh, yeah, I love it. I get to be a badass girl. And you keep playing badass roles. You played a badass girl on Scorpion King, and then you played this badass doctor on Legacies, and then on Galavan, and then now on Fear the Walking Dead. You're like this lady that's like, you know, just rocking it. You're rocking it. My God, your roles are amazing. It's just like hit after hit after hit. And have you noticed a change in your fans recently? Because, you know, Legacies is on one part of the spectrum and Fear the Walking Dead is on another. Do you see the difference in the fans of the two shows?
I love that the fan base, it's growing, and it's the demographics of the fan base is so diverse and becoming more and more diverse, and that really excites me and warms my heart. Each of the fandoms of the shows are so wonderful. When I joined Legacies, I was just welcomed with big open arms from the Vampire Diaries and the Originals fandom, and that just meant the world to me. And same thing now as I'm getting to know a lot of the fans of Fear the Walking Dead and the Walking Dead universe. It's so lovely how they just welcomed in this rookie into the fold, and it truly means so much. What I do see is already some of the Legacy fans have already been Walking Dead fans or Fear the Walking Dead fans. So they were so excited when I crossed over to this show. And then also having my beloved Once Upon a Time fans who are new to the whole Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead universe and are now coming on board to watch the show because Jasmine has gone to the apocalypse, as they said. And
Jasmine has gone crazy.
Apocalypse. They want to support. Jasmine.
It must feel good when you walk into a convention, right? It must feel good when you're in the convention and you're not just from one show. You're from several hit shows in the past 3 years. Once Upon a Time, Gallivant, Legacies, Fear the Walking Dead. Like, what do you sign for? And that line must look so diverse because we go to the conventions and we see the diverse lines and we love the fans. And we're going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. We cover it. We're inside, outside. We're doing a bunch of crazy stuff. We have a huge event that Saturday evening, the biggest after party. And but for you, it must feel so amazing that when you're sitting there and they probably put Fear the Walking Dead, but then your fans are like, I saw you 3 months ago on Legacies. I saw you 6 months ago on Once Upon a Time. Does it get confusing signing different names for them?
I think it just warms my heart because it makes me realize that, you know, a fan that comes in and brings a Scorpion King photo that they've witnessed and been a part of my journey for such a long time. And I'm so grateful, and it just warms my heart, and I can't thank them enough for just being a part of, you know, taking time out of their lives to be a part of my life. And when they bring the different pictures of the different characters that they love, it just makes my heart sing. It just means the world to me to have that kind of support over the years for so long, crossing over from each show to show. I'm really blessed to have such an incredibly kind and loving and supportive fan base. And I just love that they kind of hop with me to each show. And I'm really excited. They definitely make the adventure so much more exciting having all of them with me.
That's so amazing to hear. You know what, Karen? I can probably make this episode last 5 hours. I have so much to ask you. We'll bring you back on another episode. I know you have a short amount of time. Comic-Con's coming up. You have all these other interviews set up. One last thing I wanted to ask you before we head out. I know you have a ton of things going on, and I know people can't wait to watch the next episode of Fear the Walking Dead because, you need the generator. But here's the thing. Are you excited?
Generator woes.
Yeah, generator woes. Are you excited for San Diego Comic-Con and what's up next for you? I know I want to ask you 1,000 more questions, but what's next? I know what's happening, but what's next for Karen?
So Comic-Con, this is my first time at Comic-Con, and I'm so excited. But this is crazy because it's my first time, and I'm so spoiled. I'm going straight to Hall H, and that is not normal. And I'm like, I know. I feel so lucky that my first experience is going to be straight in Hall H on Friday at noon. And I'm so excited to be there with my Fear family, and I've also been talking to my Legacies family who are going to be there as well. So we've been reaching out to each other saying, oh my gosh, you there? Let's hang and catch up. And so it'll be really nice to see them as well. I'm really excited to see everyone and meet all the wonderful Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead fans. That's going to be such a treat. After Comic-Con, a few days later, I fly to London, England to do London Comic-Con, which, again, very new for me, and I'm really excited to be back on home turf. I love going home whenever I can, and to see all the fans there is going to be really exciting. And then I'm doing Dragon Con Labor Day weekend, and I've never been to Dragon Con, so I'm so excited that between the Comic Cons and the Dragon Con, it's going to be. I'm really thrilled. I'm busy with the convention routes. I've got the Once Upon a Time convention in New Jersey in October, so I'm really thrilled about all that. And then in the meanwhile, we're on hiatus until mid-November, so I'm looking at different projects and scripts and seeing if there's anything that kind of whets my appetite, and if anything really yummy script-wise comes up that could be good to do in between, that would be nice. But otherwise, it's just kind of taking some time to rest, because being on a show like Fear the Walking Dead, it's full on. And the gang warned me, it's not for the faint-hearted, and you have to keep up physically, stamina that way. And so it's been nice now to be on a little break and to just catch up on sleep and not be called in at 4 a.m. For a little while. So I'm just enjoying it, and being at home with my family and my dog, who hasn't seen me in a while. So it's
that's
really
why your dog's so excited in the background. And I know you don't want guts all the time exploding in your face at 4 a.m. So I understand the stress you're going on there.
I know it's a different. It's now blood, guts, and dirt. But that excites me. I think I'm the only one that. The more dirt I have on my makeup, the more excited I get, because it's so different from playing Princess Jasmine or Isabella on Gallivant. And I love those roles so much. And then now I'm swinging to the other side, and now it's all about dirt and guts and blood and slaying zombies and whatnot. But I'm just really grateful. I've also been in between. I'm not allowed to say what my role is yet, but I've been doing this Disney animation called Mira, Royal Detective, and I'm really proud to be part of an all-South Asian cast. It is the first cartoon animation that Disney's put that focuses on South Asian culture, and I've seen some of the episodes, and it's so exciting. It's coming out next year, and I've been doing that a lot and throughout the past year, and it's been so exciting. I can't wait till it comes out. It's a fun show to be a part of.
Well, we can't wait till that comes out, and we can't wait to see you at the conventions, and we can't wait to have you on every show and TV series and movie and everything. And we can't wait.
Casting directors, you can just cast me in all of these shows, because that would just be great.
That's it. Hey, whoever's listening out there, Karen has some dead time coming up, so if you guys want to cast her, let's make it happen. We have to use the pun, dead time.
That'd be so lovely.
That would be so lovely.
See,
Yeah.
even my dog Milo's agreeing in the background.
Yes, he just nodded his head, and your parents are going to pray for that. You're always going to get the best roles. You know why? You got two of the most amazing people praying for you 24/7.
Well, I'm grateful for all that I have leading up to this point, and anything else is a bonus. You know, as an actor, you're always like kind of thinking, gosh, you know, you're only good as your last role, and am I ever going to work again? And there's always a part of you that kind of, I think when I was talking to Judi Dench, this was a few years back, we were at the Lord of the Rings musical opening gala, and I remember she was saying that, and I'm thinking, my God, you're Judi Dench, like you're a legend. Of course, you're always going to work. It's like even the greats like her worry about, you know, am I going to work again? And so we always have a little bit of that vulnerability in us, and humble, hopefully.
Well, the route you're going, I'm going to tell you this. You're Karen David. You're always going to work. Why are you tripping? I just did the Judi Dench one for you. Did you like that?
You think, Galaxy.
Yeah,
I like the way you think.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is so lovely to have you. We can't wait to have you back on. We can't wait to have all the Fear the Walking Dead cast. But let me tell you something. You're so nice and humble. We had Danae Garcia on a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, and she is nice and humble, and you're nice and humble. But you guys kill zombies and people on TV. That's crazy. But hey, it probably takes a nice, humble person to play that role, maybe, right?
I think it takes I think being the way we are and carrying a bit of ourselves into our roles, infusing a bit of ourselves into these roles, it takes a lot, knowing, especially for Grace, every walker that she has to put down is someone that she's worked with. You know, each of them has a decimeter around their neck with a name and an identity, and that just kills her every time. So these are people, you know, at the end of the day, I remember, I think one fan had tweeted and said that, oh, but they're just walkers. You want to kill them all. They're horrible people. And it's like, well, actually, you know what? These walkers used to be humans, and they had a soul, and they had a life, and they had hopes and dreams. And it's so sad to see what they've become. And the best thing we can do is show empathy towards them. And it's a different kind of you know, and the way you look at them. Because at first, my initial instinct is to say, oh my God, I'm so scared, and I've got to kill you to kill me. But then when you think about it more, it makes it harder to want to dispose of them, which is why, you know, with Alicia's character, Alicia, on the show, you know, she doesn't want to kill anymore. It hurts her every time. It's just too much killing. And I can sympathize with that and understand that. So,
damn.
Anyway.
That's pretty fierce. That's the way you look at the series. It's not what I expected. You look at the show and you really feel for them. And it's amazing to hear that, because you're right. They are human beings. And the way you think, that's why they brought you on. That's it. And just keep going with that mentality, and everybody's going to get on your page, because they were humans at one point. They just got bit. That's all. Right. And, you know, you can't just kill them all. Right. You got to like do it in a nice way. And it's amazing how they wrote that role for you. I feel that I know you're not that person on the TV series, because we're not in an apocalypse. You're not killing people left and right. But I think some of you is in that character. I think so. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But do you think some of you is in that character?
Well, you know what they say in acting school? They say that each of your characters is essentially an extension of who you are, or you would be in that situation. So there is some truth to that, absolutely. And there are characters that I've played that are so different from me. Like when I was on Criminal Minds, I'm playing someone whose views are very different from the norm, but that is her truth, and that is what she believes. That is what she is committed to. And so me as Karen, I have to support that, even though it may not be right. It might not be right fundamentally or morally, but that is who she is. And so if that is who she is, and that's the choices she makes, then that's where I go. I'm led so much by the character and the stories. I have to say, I meet actors, at different parts of their lives, and especially when if I'm giving a talk to kids and stuff, I always try to remind them that to be an actor, it shouldn't be said in a very casual way. Oh, I'm an actor. Because really, when you say I'm an actor, it is a privilege. It's a privilege to be able to play different characters, to portray and reflect on their journeys and their stories and their triumphs, their traumas, their griefs. It's such a privilege to be able to tell those truths. And that's what being an actor is. Being an actor is empathy. It is being empathetic. So it's really I get so excited every time when I'm about to start on a new adventure and play a different character. It's like paint started to create, and you get to layer in these different textures that make up the character that you're going to be playing. So I often kind of use that analogy of painting. And as soon as you step into the costume and the shoes, you just, something magical takes over. And when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, oh my gosh, that's Grace. That's not Karen. I don't ever want to see Karen. I just want to see Grace. And if I see Grace, then I've done something right. But if I see an inkling of Karen, then I know, uh-oh.
You're like, uh-oh.
But that comes with growth. That comes with learning. And as an actor, you have to always be constantly wanting to be better and improving your game. And if you're going to learn from the best. And there's so many fantastical shows on TV and in film. There's so many amazing actors and actresses out there that just make it look easy. And I am always quick to pop those films or TV shows on my laptop and just watch, because watching and observing and just seeing how each of these legends or greats do their thing, that I can only hope that it maybe rubs off a little bit on me. But if you're going to learn, my teachers have always said, learn from the best. So that'd be my advice to any young up-and-coming actors, is to always just keep learning, have an appetite to always want to learn.
That's such amazing advice. That's actually like a master class right there. I was just like, wow. I'm not an actor, but, you made me want to become an actor, so I'm going to go out tomorrow and audition, because what you just said was like, wow. You have a very powerful position. You're right. Don't take acting so lightly. Don't just call yourself an actor, because you are playing this role and there's millions of people watching you and they're looking up to you. And every little thing you do and say makes a big, bold statement. And what you just said right now, these tens of thousands of fans listening right now, they're like, wow. And they're going to take it to the heart and they're going to listen to you. And that was a bold statement. That was amazing. And what you just said is awesome. Now, if these fans and everybody want to reach you, how can they find you on social media?
So on social media, on Instagram, I'm at Karen David Official. I had to put the official because another Karen David was not happy when everyone
Boo
was
on the other Karen David. You're the only one.
So it's Karen David Official on Instagram. On Twitter, it's at Karen David. And on Facebook, you can find me, again, Karen David, or it's facebook.com/Karen David Music. So you'll find me popping over there.
That's really cool. You had a hit in Europe, which, everybody can listen to. You act really well. You write really well. I've heard so many great things about you. It's amazing how everybody just wants you around them. I've noticed that, and I've seen that, and it's lovely. And if people want to reach you, they'll reach you out on Instagram. It's Karen David Official. Don't go to the other Karen David. Look at her picture. Go to this Karen David. Don't go to the other one. And follow her.
Kind. Galaxy, you've spoiled me with such kind words. So
hey,
thank you. It's very sweet of you.
The words. You're awesome. And I can't wait for us to have you back on. And I can't wait to see you at Comic-Con and San Diego next week, because you're going to be there and we're going to be there and we're going to see you and we're going to wave at you. You probably won't wave back because you're going to have thousands of people in front of you, but we'll be around, doing things and interviews and stuff. But
wave.
We'll
Make
jump
sure
in the
you
air
wave.
and we'll do like a bird technique. You're probably like,
I love it. It'll
conventions
be like
are crazy.
calling call,
No, we won't do that.
If you have a dosimeter in your hand or a Geiger counter,
There you go.
Lift it up in the air. There you go. There you go, a hazmat suit. I will definitely see you in a hazmat suit.
Yes, bring that out. If you're a fan of Karen David, wear one of those around your neck or wear a hazmat suit or just come out there and just like hold it up in the air and she'll wave at you and she'll be like, these people are crazy.
See you soon.
Yes, can't wait. And you've been so lovely on the show. We appreciate you. And please come back on the show and talk about, once the season's done, we got to talk about your convention experiences, and we'll go from there. And is there anything else you want to tell the fans before we start our ending?
Other than, thank you so much to all the fans for being so supportive and so lovely and just inspiring me every day and making me smile. I'm really blessed. I'm very grateful, and I'm just so glad that they're on this journey with me. And you guys have been so great. I've seen how supportive you guys are of the show, and every bit helps. So thank you so much on behalf of everyone.
That is so lovely. Thank you so much, Karen. And with that said, we're ready to sign out. Are you ready, Karen?
I am. I'm ready when you are.
Well, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have the lovely Karen David still on. She's been amazing. She answered all these questions. She's going to come back on the show, hopefully, if she loves us. Maybe not. We'll see. But if this episode goes well, check her out at San Diego Comic-Con. It's her first time there. Come out, go on her line, get an autograph, get a picture, get both. Please support her. She's amazing. Watch her on Fear the Walking Dead. Hopefully Legacies, hopefully so many movies and shows. Get her on your TV show if you need someone like her, or your movie. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is your boy Galaxy, and we're signing out from a stupendous and amazing episode with the lovely Karen David. And with that, we're going to give you 1 billion kisses. Ready, Karen? 3, 2, 1. Mwah.
I feel so loved. Thank
Look at
you.
that. She gave you guys kisses. We're signing out. I love you guys. Peace.
Thank you, love. Thanks so much for having me. Bye.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Galaxy signing out from another amazing episode of Comic-Con Radio. Tune in for your daily shows of Comic-Con Radio. Go to comicon-radio.com. Reach us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Comic-Con Radio. You can call us toll-free right now. 800-976-0305. 800-976-0305. Comic-Con Radio, taking the world one listener at a time.